Today I will cover some tips and tricks in SolidWorks, including copy setting wizard. We will have a look why we need to use this tool and where and why. Secondly, I will show you the welcome interface that you might always have shown it but less use it. I will show you the possibilities that we have in the interface, what we can do. And followingly, we will have a discussion and practice for SolidWorks search tool, some shortcut. I will show you some shortcut bars, some short keys, and some options in trim and offset tools, some option in chamfer, and also I will use the fully defined sketch automatically to see how we can fully define our sketch within less time. So before that, I'm going through the tools. Let's have a look at why basically we need to know these tips and tricks. You know that as a SolidWorks user, we always looking for to do things more quickly. So these tips and tricks will help us to eliminate a lot of mouse traveling within the SolidWorks, and then which lets us to save more time and consequently be more efficient. But we need to remember that these are not the only way of doing things. This is just an introduction to different possibilities that we can have in SolidWorks. So the main purpose is just to save time by reducing the amount of mouse traveling. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is copy setting wizard. You know, as SolidWorks users, most of the time we upgrade to new version of SolidWorks during each year, and also there are times that we need to uninstall the software and also install it again on our computer. And in large organization, especially when you have a design team. Can you see my screen? Excuse me, just wait a second. So I was talking about copy setting wizard, where and why we should use it and where we can use it. So as I mentioned, as a SolidWorks user, we have a lot of customization within the software. It could be either in the setting, in the file location, in the toolbar. So all this customization will be gone as long as you upgrade the SolidWorks to a newer version or you uninstall the software. So this tool can create a backup and save all the customization for us, and we can recall it whenever we have a new version or new installation of SolidWorks on the computer. So it saves definitely a lot of time for us, and also it has the possibility to lead us to a level of consistency, especially where we are a design team, in terms of when we have some organizational setting in the software. So now I'm going to lead you through the copy wizard setting wizard and see how we can use it. So simply, if we the copy wizard, the copy setting wizard is sitting inside this computer. If you go to the search box and just search copy wizard, you can see I have one for SolidWorks 2019 and I have another one for 2020. If my pace is a bit high, just let me know in the chat box, so I will try to go a bit slower. So in my case, I have decided to upgrade my version as an example to 2020, and I have a lot of settings in my SolidWorks. So if I simply click on copy setting wizard, this window will pop up. So there are two options. As I'm going to save all the settings in SolidWorks 2019, so I go will to save my setting in a file. And if I wanna to recall the saved settings in a new version or in another computer, I will go for the second option. But in my case, because I'm going to save all the settings, so I will go for the first option. If I click on next, so I have to close my SolidWorks because I have it on. So I close it and select yes. If I go to the next stage, as you can see, there are some options which you can deselect them. But I'm going to stay with whatever is selected. And it means that it will save all of my system options, the toolbar layout, and the keyboard shortcut, and mouse gestures, and so on, as you can see here. In the browse box, in this location, you can change the place that you want to save your settings. So I will save it on my desktop as an example, and then I finish the task. As you can see, I have already one in my desktop, so I will replace it. So it has been replaced. So I have backup and saved all the settings in SolidWorks 2019, and now I'm going to recall it for the 2020. Okay. Again, I will go to the search toolbox and just simply write down copy setting wizard, but this time, because I'm going to recall the setting in the saved setting in 2020, I will go to copy setting wizard in 2020. Again, the same window will pop up, and then this time I'm going to restore the saved setting. If I go to restore and go to the next, I can browse the one that I just saved from my desktop and open it. And as you can see, the same. If I have few other SolidWorks version installed, it asks me, do you want to recall it on which SolidWorks? So I want to recall it for SolidWorks 2020. I will stay again with the default settings and selections. And if I go to the next, here simply it asks me if you want to deploy the setting in a local machine, or if you are working within a network. I will choose the second option, and if I go to the next, it will show me a list of computers, which in my case it wouldn't be doable because I'm a local machine. So depends on if you are working within a network. If you are working within a network, a number of the name of a list of computers that are within that network will be shown here, and you can simply add it to the selected computers, and those settings will be deployed on those computers. But as a local machine, as a user, which I'm a local user, So I can use the local machine and then go to next, and it will, if I select finish, all the settings will from 2019 will be transferred to 2020 version. But at this time, I'm not going to finish the task because I have already have my setup in 2020. So I cancel this task. And this is all about, about copy setting wizard. This tool has been sitting there for so many years, but there are two groups of people. Some people, they have been using it all the time, but some of them are absolutely have no idea about it. But after 2018, it is highly recommended because there have been a lot of modification to that, and it's now working very well. So this might be very useful for you. Is there any question you have in this section? If you want to more demonstration on it or any question, please just put a message in the chat box. Okay, we will continue by welcome page. Welcome page in SolidWorks is very useful because it can save a lot of time in terms of if you are working with so many files and those files are sitting in different places, in different folders, in different locations, you can easily pin them and recall them in the welcome page, and you can have access it more quickly. I will wait till SolidWorks is off. Okay, this is the SolidWorks welcome page. Whenever you run the SolidWorks, this will pops up automatically. Or if you don't have access to welcome page, easily you can come to, can you see this sign? This is welcome to SolidWorks, or the shortcut key is Control F2. So I will have access through here. And as you can see, you can open new parts assembly and drawing here, or you can open recent documents, and you can have access to recent folders and also so many international resources which help you to learn more about SolidWorks. As you can see, there are 4 different tabs. The first tab, which is the home page, which I already described. The recent tab get you access to a longer list of all documents or folders that you have been recently using, and you can have, instead of to go to, for example, C and then new folder, and blah, blah, you can access them through here. And in Learn tab, it introduces different international resources that you can have access and learn more about SolidWorks. And in Alerts tab, it's always listed and keep you updated with the new things in SolidWorks, new news or whatever is happening in SolidWorks world. And again, back to the Home tab, as you can see, there are some features that I have recently used them. There are some parts and documents that I have recently used them. And as you can see, there is a pin here. And some of my parts, they are already pinned. If I just click on this pin, mean every time that I open up this welcome page, they are here and they will stay stationary here. For example, if you have 10 parts that all the time you're gonna use them, so it's a good idea to pin them here. I guess the limit to pin to be able to pin the number of parts is 100. Yeah, it's 100. So you can pin up to 100 parts and assemblies and all other documents here. If you tag, excuse me. So my apologies for this. Again, I will go back to welcome page. If you toggle these two arrows here, you can see you have access to more settings for that specific document. You can imagine that this is a very large assembly and you wanna have access for any reasons, to that assembly every day or every now and then. So you can have access to just have a quick view of that, or you can open it in a resolve mode, or if there are different configuration, which in this part I don't have different configurations, so you can select which configuration you want it to be open always, and some more options here. And if I just toggle it back, it will back to its place. And this is all about welcome page that I wanted to share with you, which might be new for some of you. So I will exit this one and go back to my presentation. So as you can see, welcome page is a great platform for you to save a lot of time in terms of your most used files and documents and folders. So you can pin them in, and every time or every day that you open the SolidWorks, you can have access those files and documents. The next section is I'm going to take you through some shortcut bars and shortkeys inside the SolidWorks. But to me, it's the best practice is just is that I create a part and explain these things inside a part while I'm creating the part. So again, in brief, I will talk about SolidWorks search tool and what is it, and how you can access the different features through search tool, shortcut bars, shortkeys, some option in trim and offset, some option with chamfer, and I will use fully defined sketch automatically. And again, I should mention just that these are not the only way to do things in SolidWorks. This is just new possibilities. If I just open a new part, you can see that I do not have any command manager, and I don't have any toolbar open. As I said, the purpose of these tips and tricks are to minimize the mouse traveling in the graphic area. Also, I can enjoy a larger graphic area to work with. So I will start to create a part as an example and introduce the different options through creating that part. The first thing that I'm going to introduce is flyouts. So as you can see, if I select any of the planes inside the feature manager tree or on the origin, a flyout pops up. There are some features in flyout, and as you can see, those features are different if I select a page or if I select the origin, as you can see here. So this shows that this flyout is context sensitive. Depends on what you select, this flyout pop up, and automatically there are some features. And the good thing about this flyout is just it gets access to different features that we mostly use in SolidWorks, and also is absolutely customizable. If I just stay in the flyout and right click, I have the possibility to customize this flyout. So go to customize, and then you can see the flyout here. From the different categories, you can add different features by dragging and dropping the feature into the flyout. So if I, for example, if I just extend, drag and drop the midpoint, I can have it here. So as I don't want this feature, again, I will extract it out. And within this, or let's say go to macro as an example, and drag and drop display option here, which I don't want it, so I will put it back, extract it back. Yep. So here is how you can customize your flyout. Through the next features, you can see that how this flyout can be different when I use different selection. For example, if I select an edge, the flyout will be different to this flyout when I'm selecting a plane. So I will select the front plane, and then I will start a sketch. Okay. So as you can see, there is no command manager and no toolbar for me to select the entity that I'm going to create. Here, I'm going to introduce you the S keys. S keys, if I just press the S key, you can see some features are pops up in this shortcut menu. Okay, so let's go to see how we can access these S keys and how we can customize them. S keys are the built-in command in SolidWorks, which we can customize it here. If we go to, once again, if we go to tools and customize, in the top menu, the second menu is called shortcut bars. Shortcut bars is an opportunity for us to get access much more quicker by eliminating the traveling to the command manager or the toolbar or the feature manager inside a sketch, inside a drawing, inside an assembly, and inside a part. So in fact, we can have 4 different skis. Depends on which area we are working with. So you can have different skis. If I work within a sketch, by pressing the S key, all these features will be handy when I press the S key. So again, from this toolbar, I can call out different toolbar and add different features to this shortcut bar. As you can see, I added this convert entities, but I have one here. So again, I will extract it out. So you can customize it the same for parts, assembly, drawing, and a sketch differently. So I will exit this part. And as you can see, by pressing the S key, I just press the S key, I get access to all the features that I have customized inside the customize window. So now I'm going to draw 2 circles. So simply I choose the circle. And as you can see, there are 2 types of circle here in the feature manager tree. Okay. So instead of traveling the mouse and go to change the options for drawing the circle, There's another shortcut that I can use, which is A key, A. So if you just click on A, you can toggle between these two options quickly. So no need for me to travel my mouse to the feature manager tree and come back to the graphical area to draw my circle. So again, by just tapping on A, I can toggle between the circles. So I will stay with the center and radius and create my circle, another circle, and then again, as all of us know, I will go to a smart dimension and put a dimension for these two circles. I want it 50. So I want this one 100 millimeter. And as you can see, when this dimension is selected, if you want to display it as a diameter, simply you can right click and display this dimension as a diameter, okay? Or if you don't want to use this option, you can see this a small ball at the top of the dimension. If you just grab that ball and move the mouse, you can rotate the dimension and reposition the dimension to wherever you are desired. So as you can see, I left it here. So I'll decide to display this one as a diameter and leave the larger one in this area. The next a short key I'm going to introduce is the F key that you might know is not very new, but F key always give us access to zoom to fit, as you can see. And again, I'm going to add some lines to this sketch. Simply, I press the S key and get access to line command. So I need one line here, one line here. So I need two more vertical and horizontal lines and two more vertical. Select. I need one more line. Again, I will go to S key. So I need a center line. If I just create a line and want to convert it to construction geometry, instead of going to the feature manager tree, I simply right click and convert it to geometry, construction geometry. So I want to choose between, I want to select these two vertical lines and add a symmetry relation to that. So now I'm going to introduce the selection box and different ways of selecting entities inside the sketch. In the mode of selection for me is a box selection, okay? Whenever I want to select the entities, if I drag the selection box from right to left, as you can see, all these entities which are situated inside the selection box has been selected, but this one has not because it wasn't inside the selected box. But if I drag my selection box from left to right, only the items that are fully contained inside the selection box will be selected. As you can see, I want just these 3 items and this one is extra. Simply by keeping the control, I can deselect this line and just have these 3 selected. And here I can add the symmetry relation. So I will add the dimension of these 2 lines manually. Yes. And then instead of adding all the rest of dimension to fully define the sketch manually, I'm going to use the automatic option for fully defined sketch. So what I need to do is just simply click on a point, which I will choose the origin, and the software will consider this selected point as a reference and right click and get access to fully defined sketch. If I just click on fully defined sketch, you can see here it gives me different options. If I select all the entities in the sketch, means it will ask all the relations and dimensions needed to fully define the sketch. But since I have already added some dimension and some of the sketches are fully defined, I'll go for the second option and select specific entities. I want to select these 3 lines and then I calculate it. And as you can see, these 3 lines based on the origin, these 3 dimensions have been given me. And now the sketch is fully defined. So I will increase this one. And let's say this one, and that's it. I'm happy with the values at this stage. What else I'm going to introduce to you is some options using trim inside the sketch. So if I press the S key, before that, I'm going to trim the extra part inside the sketch. Okay, definitely I need to use the trim. So in cases that I have a very messy sketch and there are a lot of the entities, there are 2 options inside the trim feature, which I can have access it either through the feature manager tree or by right clicking, I can get access to those 2 options. As you can see, the first one is just keep trimmed entities as construction geometry. Means when we go and trim an entity, it won't delete it. It's converted to construction geometry. And the second one is to ignore trimming of construction geometry. So I will activate both of these options and then I will use power trim. By keeping control, you can see if I pass the entity or the place that I want to trim, there is it converted to construction geometry, and also there is a red box appearing. So if I made a mistake and I don't want that part to be trimmed, simply I can go back and pass that red box, so it will undo the task for me. But I want this part trimmed. Also, one of the advantage of using these 2 is, look, I want to trim this area, this line, and also I have this construction at the middle. So to speed up, simply I can just go around all of them. And as you can see, they simply just, I didn't lose my construction line, and also all the entities have been trimmed out. So also I want to trim this part, and that's it. So this is these 2 options in trim. Whenever I want to put an end to task and finish that task and exit from that feature, I have two possibilities. As you can see, I have seen this OK here, or sometimes I can access the OK through right click, or there's a short key which is D key. If simply I press the D, as you can see that instead of traveling to different parts of the feature manager or in graphical area, so I can speed up and finish the task by just pressing the D key. Yeah. So the next thing that I'm going to go for it is offset. So if I just click on offset, I will press the S key, excuse me. I will press the S key and select the offset. So as you can see in the feature manager tree, the select chain is activated, and if I select any item, all the other entities which is connected to that line or the first selected entity will be chosen. But I don't want all of them selected. Simply instead of again traveling to the feature manager tree and coming back and reselect all the entities, I simply can right click and deselect the select chain. And here I can select, first I will define a dimension. Excuse me, I messed up. Once again, good, we can repeat the task. I will press the S key, go to offset, and this time, as you can see, the select chain is not selected, so I have just one entity selected. So I'll go and select all the entities, but this is not the direction that I want. Again, instead of going back to the feature manager tree and traveling back to the graphic area, I simply can right click and reverse the direction of the offset. And here, as you can see, I will zoom these two ends. These two ends will remain open if I just exit the offset task. But there is an option inside the offset feature called end caps. If I select that end caps, you can see that within the same feature, I can end these two caps, and it can be either arcs or lines. So in my case, I wanna choose line because I need two lines at those ends. So, and simply I will do the offset and exit by pressing the D key. I will exit my sketch. As you can see, when you exit the sketch is still in a selected state. So if I press the S key, all the features that I have customized inside the S key and shortcut bar, it pops up here. So I will go and choose extrude. I want to do few extrude on this sketch, and since I have a lot of contours, so I will just choose the contours that I'm going to extrude, and I'm happy with the default dimension. And again, using D key, I will exit the extrude because as I'm going to use the same sketch so many times, so I prefer to show my sketch in the graphical area. So I will select the sketch and I want to extrude some more contours. Again, I will select the S key and go to extrude. This time I'm going to extrude this one, but I don't want a thin feature. So I will extrude it up to here. And using F key, I will Using F key, I will fit to zoom. I'm happy with the dimension 150 almost. So I will again exit the extrude feature by selecting the D key and then exit the feature. Again, I'm going to do some more extrude. I will select the sketch, press the S key, get access to extrude, and this time I'm going to extrude these two contours. I don't want a thin feature. And click on OK. Sometimes we have some chamfer inside your model that it just it needs to be controlled by just this dimension. Okay, I'm going to introduce an option inside the chamfer. So if I select this edge, as you can see again, the fly out pops up, including some features in it. So these are automatically customized. So I will select the feature, and instead of using dimension and angle, I will go to face feature, face chamfer, sorry. And then I will select the first face. And if I right click here, as you can see in the feature manager tree, it automatically led me to the second set of selection. So I can select the second face, and here I'm going to add a parameter to my chamfer. So go to chamfer parameters and select the hold line. What hold line does is just it creates, I'm going to create two edges to create that line, which is my parameter for this chamfer. So by selecting these two edges, I introduce that line as a parameter for this chamfer, and if select on OK, or by using the D key, if I exit the chamfer, you can see the chamfer has been created. So later I will show you the benefit of using this option in chamfer. Again, I'll do the same for the next part of the model. I'll select face to face, this face, right click the second face, and then I will change the parameter to hold line. I will introduce these two edges as a to create the line for parameter, and then using the D key, I will exit the chamfer. So for any reason, if I go to bus extrude tree and change this dimension, as you can see, the chamfer will be controlled. And using one dimension, we can control the chamfer. So I don't have any practical example of this one, but definitely we might face in industry for some cases that we have just one dimension and we need to control the chamfer. So this could be a possibility, and it's good to know. So the next thing that I'm going to do is again choose my first sketch, press Ctrl S, access the extrude feature, and then I'm going to extrude this contour for 3 millimeter. Okay. And I'm going to create another sketch at the bottom face. So if I want to select the bottom face of the model, I have to rotate it and select it. There's another way in cases that you have more complex and larger maybe assemblies or part. So this procedure and this way is very handy. So I click on select. If I go to S key, I can create an sketch. Here it asks me for a plane to land my sketch, but instead of rotating my part, so I simply right click on the surface and go to select others. So it gives me the rest of the faces that I can select. As you can see, this face is showing that it's the bottom face of the model. So I select that face and start creating my sketch. So again, I will use offset. I'll press the S key, go to offset, and select all the edges. So I will keep it with the same dimension. Yes, everything is fine. I will close the sketch using a line. Again, using S key, I will get access to line feature. I will close the sketch and using the D key, I will exit the sketch. As you can see, the sketch is selected, and using the S key, I can again access the extrude feature. And I'm not happy with the direction. I will reverse the direction and just click on OK to end my extrude. So the purpose of creating this small face here is to show you the application of another short key, which is the G key. I want to create another sketch in this surface, and as you can see, I'm struggling to select the surface. So what I can do here, G key can help me here to have a larger view of this surface or any other section on the model. So if I just press the G key, you can see it gives me a magnifying glass. And as I take it through the other sections of the part, you can see that it magnifies those sections. And simply from here, I can magnify that surface and select it. And when I select it, I can open the sketch from the flyout. And simply, if I press the S key, I will create some sort of rectangle here. And what I need to do here, I need to fully define the sketch. Again, instead of adding all the dimensions manually, I will define a point. Let's go for the origin again. I will select the origin, right click, and go to fully define the sketch. So I want all entities in this one. And I want to add all the relation and dimensions needed to fully define the sketch. And as you can see, the dimensions are given and all of them fully define the sketch. So either I can change them, or for now I will leave it as it is and I exit the sketch. So here, again, by pressing the S key, I can quickly have access to cut extrude and cut the groove from the underneath. So this is what I wanted to do, and if I just rotate the model, you can see that it's successfully cutted. And there's another option that if I want to rotate the model about the scene floor, this is a good option for us to rotate the model in the isometric view. It's very handy. And I press the F to zoom to fit. So this is all I wanted to show you. Hope it was useful. Again, I will give a summary on what we covered. So as you could see, I didn't use any of the command manager or any toolbar to get access to the feature that I used. So the only thing that I used to get access to those tools and features were S key and some short keys that I introduced. The short keys are included to the D key. D key leads you to the OK option to exit the sketch and just finish the task. S key takes you to the shortcut bars. The other key, the short key that I introduced was G key. Again, I can show it to you here. If I go to any parts of the model and just press the G key, you can see the magnifying glass. And as you travel through the model, you can see those parts are magnified for you. And you could see one of the application that it can be used when I was struggling to select this surface. The other key that I introduced was A key. When I draw a circle and I wanted to toggle between the options for drawing the circle, so that was another handy short key. So I talked about the trimmed options, the new options in trim feature, and I talked about this chamfer, face-to-face chamfer, and creating, let me to edit the feature, and introducing a parameter, which was the hold line in this case. So that's all for today. I hope you find it useful, and still we have a few minutes to go on. If you have any question, please just put a message in the chat box, and I will maybe demonstrate. If you have any question, I can have demonstrate more.